By Kedar Nath, Buddha taught the message of mercy and non-violence towards all living beings. According to Vedic tradition, he was the ninth and most recent avatar of Lord Vishnu. Buddha's birth and early life. Prince Siddhartha Gautama was born in the house of King Shuddhodana and Queen Mayadevi in Lumbini in 563 BC and was raised in the Shakya capital of Kapilavastu. On the night of his conception, Queen Mayadevi dreamt a white elephant with 6 white tusks entered her right side. 10 months later, she left for her father's kingdom to give birth. However, Siddhartha was born on the way, under a sal tree in Lumbini. During his birth celebrations, the Sirasita predicted Siddhartha would either become a great saint or a great king. On the 5th day of his birth celebrations, King Shuddhodana held a naming ceremony and invited 8 Brahmin astrologers to predict Siddhartha's future. All the astrologers concluded he would either become a king or a saint, except for Kandana, the youngest of the Brahmins and later to be named the first Arahant, the first person to achieve enlightenment. Kandana predicted Siddhartha would become a great saint. In fear of losing his heir, the king tried to confine him within the palace. Siddhartha was exposed to material things and kept away from all objects and teachings which could encourage him to pursue the spiritual path. His isolation included the realities of human suffering. At the age of 16, Siddhartha married Yasodhara and they conceived a son named Rahula. He spent 29 years as a prince in Kapilavastu. Siddhartha Gautama's renunciation. On his 29th birthday, Prince Siddhartha decided to walk out of the palace for the first time. He encountered a sick person, a poor person and a corpse being carried to the funeral. He had never been taught about sickness, poverty and death, and was unable to keep these realities out his mind. This experience sparked the flame of his spiritual longing and his journey towards enlightenment thus began. Siddhartha left for Rajagaha where he began his ascetic life as a mendicant. Bimbisara, the king of Rajagaha, recognized Siddhartha and offered him the throne. Siddhartha declined the offer and decided to leave Rajagaha, promising to visit once more upon achieving enlightenment. Siddhartha then practiced the yogic teachings of hermit teachers Alara Kalama and Udakaramaputta, and was asked to be the successor of both his teachers. Siddhartha felt this was not his path, and his quest towards liberation had only just begun. Nirvana under the Bodhi tree. Siddhartha realized his path was that of dhyana, meditation and not the one of extreme asceticism. He sat under the famous Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya, and vowed not to rise until he had found the ultimate truth. After 40 days, at the age of 35 he finally manifested nirvana and became Gautama Buddha, the first Buddha. Nirvana is the attainment of liberation from the cycle of birth and death. It is the obliteration of the flames of desire, hatred and ignorance, a state in which the individual boundaries and limitations are destroyed and one becomes whole with the universe. In this state, it is said one possesses the 10 great characteristics of Buddhahood. Buddha's teachings and the Wheel of Dharma. Buddha traveled to Sarnath near Varanasi, where he initiated the Wheel of Dharma by giving his first sermon to the 5 companions with whom he had pursued enlightenment. Hence the first Sangha, company of Buddhist monks, was founded. The 5 monks became arahants, and within a short time span the Sangha grew to over 1,000 monks. Buddha traveled to the Gangetic Plain, Bihar, to share his teachings with nobles, servants, criminals and cannibals alike. Buddha decided to visit King Bimbisara to keep his promise, and spent 3 seasons at a monastery as Rajagaha. Soon, King Shuddhodana heard of his son's enlightenment and decided to send a delegation with a message asking his son to come back. The delegation failed in delivering the message, and instead joined the Sangha to become arahants. King Shuddhodana sent more delegations, which ended up joining the Sangha too. 10 delegations were sent. The last delegation, led by Kaludayi, who was a Gautama's childhood friend, finally delivered the message, but became arahant as well. Buddha's return to Kapilavastu. Buddha agreed to return to Kapilavastu. Upon his arrival, when King Shuddhodana saw the Sangha begging for alms, he approached his son and said, "Ours is the Mahamasada lineage of warriors, not a single warrior has ever begged for alms. This may not be the custom of your royal lineage, but it is the custom of my Buddha lineage. Several thousand Buddhas have begged for alms. replied Buddha. Suddhodana invited the Sangha into the palace for a meal, which was followed by a Dharma talk. King Suddhodana was so inspired by the event, he became a Sotapanna, one who enters the Noble Eightfold Path. Many members of the royal family joined the Sangha. Rahula, his son, joined the Sangha at the age of 7 and became one of Buddha's 10 chief disciples. Mahaparinirvana. At the age of 80, Buddha declared he would soon reach parinirvana, or the ultimate deathless state, the final abandoning of the body by will. It is said, Buddha's last words were, "All composite things are perishable. Strive for your own liberation with diligence." Let's block ads. Why?